released in Java 5 and it falls under the package java.util.concurrent. Using cyclic barrier, we can synchronize the threads which are progressing through some algorithm. So by this I want to convey that using cyclic barrier we can make the threads to wait at a point of code until a specific number of threads have reached that point of code, which means that if we want that say unless and until 3 threads reach at a point of code, the rest of the code should not be executed, then we can make use of cyclic barrier, which will make sure that unless 3 threads reach a specific point of code, the rest of the code won't get executed. And threads will be ordered to wait on call of await method. And await method is an instance level method of cyclic barrier class. Now cyclic barrier can be instantiated as cyclic barrier object is equals to new cyclic barrier n, where n is an integer and it is also that specific number which I was talking in the previous key point. So let's go through some Java code to understand this better. So basically, if you see my screen, when I said we can instantiate cyclic barrier in this way, cyclic barrier is equal to new cyclic barrier, and here I am passing 3, so which means this cyclic barrier will hold 3 threads, and until 3 threads reach at a specific point of code, rest of the code won't get executed. So you can see I'm creating an instance of cyclic barrier and passing this cyclic barrier to the constructor of this cap service, and this cap service is having a reference for cyclic barrier which is getting mapped inside this constructor. And then what I'm doing is I am creating a thread for this cyclic by making use of this cap service, which implements runnable interface and has a overridden run method. So when I create multiple threads for cap service and I start them, so each thread is going to come to this piece of code which is written inside this try block inside run method, and at this point of code it is going to make use of this cyclic barrier and call await method, and the thread will wait here and it will not execute further. So it won't execute further lines of code. It is going to wait here until and unless 3 threads have reached this point of code. Why 3? Because I am passing 3 here to the constructor of cyclic barrier. So 3 threads, until and unless 3 threads reach this point of code, rest of the code of this run method won't get executed. So let's just try to understand this concept with the help of some diagrammatic representations. So as you see on my screen on this slide, this green portion is nothing but the code inside the run method which I just showed to you all in the Java program, and these blue arrows are nothing but the threads. which are going to execute the code which is written inside the run method. And the cyclic barrier is having the count as 3, so it is going to keep a check for 3. So let's see what happens. So when the first thread enters this run method, at some point it is going to it is going to execute a code which says CyclicBarrier.await, and at this point this thread will check whether there are total 3 threads waiting at this point of code, and it will find no, because there is only one thread which is nothing but itself. So it is going to wait, it is not going to go further. Second thread is going to come, it is going to execute CyclicBarrier.await, and it won't find 3 threads waiting at this point of code, so it will again wait. The third thread is going to come and it is going to execute CyclicBarrier.await, and on executing this CyclicBarrier.await, it will find that yes, 3 threads are waiting at this point of code, including itself. So then all the 3 threads will execute the further code of this run method. So same cycle will flow. Next thread will come, call await, it won't find 3 threads, then again next thread will call await, and when the third thread will come, it will call await, and it's going to find 3 threads waiting at this point of code. Then they will execute the further code. Now let us try to solve a simple problem statement using cyclic barrier. So my problem statement is that I have to write a cab transport service where passengers will come one by one and join the queue, but they cannot board the cab, or the cab won't move until there are 3 passengers waiting in a queue. So the cab won't move until 3 passengers have arrived and waiting in the queue. So how cyclic barrier will help us? Let us first try to visualize this with this diagrammatic representation. So the first passenger will come, cab service will check whether 3 passengers are waiting in the queue, it will find no, so the first passenger will wait. The second passenger will come, it will try to find, cab service will find whether 3 passengers are waiting in the queue, it will again find no, and this passenger will wait. The third will come, again the cab service will find whether 3 passengers are waiting in the queue, and this time it will find yes, 3 passengers are waiting in the queue, so they are going to board the cab and the cab will move. So let's see how to achieve this with Java program. So here I have a cab booking class, and here I am, as I told, I am instantiating this cyclic barrier with the count as 3. So now in this cab service, using this cab service, I am making a thread, and to this cab service, which implements a runnable interface, I am passing this cyclic barrier, and it is going to map it here in the constructor. So this what's going to happen is, now as you see, this cab service has a cyclic barrier reference and it will map it here in the constructor. Now if you see, as I'm going to start this thread, I'm going to I'm setting name of this thread, and then I'm going to start this thread, and likewise I'm going to start other threads also. So I'm going to start one thread, I'm going to make this current thread, which is the main thread, sleep for 12 seconds, and I'm going to then start other thread of cab service. I'm going to again sleep it I'm going to again make the current main thread sleep for 12 seconds, and then I'm going and likewise I'm going to start further threads also. So now when I'm going to start this thread of cap service, what's gonna happen is the flow will come here. The thread is going to execute this line that this thread has arrived or this passenger has arrived, and then it is going to call CyclicBarrier.await. On this point, the current thread will stop and won't execute the further code unless and until 3 threads have reached this line of code. And on when the third thread will reach, it is going to call await method, and it will find that yes, 3 threads have reached this point of code. Then all the threads will execute this piece of code, and it's going to print that this thread or this passenger is going to board the cab. So let's see, let's execute this program and let's see. So I'm going to run this program. So see, passenger 1 has arrived, and it would have called this await method, and it is waiting for other threads to arrive or other passengers to arrive. Then after 12 seconds we will see passenger 2 has arrived. It again called await method and waiting for the third thread or passenger, and then we are going to see after 12, yes, now see passenger third arrived. It printed this line, called the await method, and found that yes, 3 threads have reached this point of code. So all the 3 threads move further and executed this line that this is going to board the cab. So you see these 3 lines. Passenger 1 is going to board the cab, 2 and 3 is going to board the cab. And similar thing will follow. Passengers or threads will come, they are going to call await, wait until the 3 threads are waiting at this point. And once the 3 threads have reached this point of code, they all will move further. So see, so that's how we can make use of this cyclic barrier to solve our problem statement. And now okay, so thanks friends for watching this video. I hope you liked it, and if you liked my if you liked this video tutorial, then please subscribe my channel on YouTube and like this video. You can also visit my website www.amitpreet.com for more of such tutorials. Thanks a lot friends. Have a nice day.